Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last VIP qualifier for Sovereign Snob Meta Tournament number 5. So quick little rundown. Obviously these are just 8 player pods. This one was specifically a 6 player one just because we didn't get enough signups, but that's besides the point. Basically the winner just gets a round 1 bye in Sovereign Snob Meta Tournament number 5. So if you're interested in these tournaments, join the Discord link in the description below. And with all that said, let's get started with this. So up at the top we have Wolf83, who is on, I believe, Blue Eyes, and down at the bottom we have Goofy Ghost, who is on Marincess. So let's get started into it. Wolf is going to be winning the die roll and opting to go first here, or no, second rather. Sorry about that. And we'll see what happens here. So sign up mining is going to be used to discarding Seek Archiver. If you saw this against Sally Migrate like a year or two ago, this was like pretty much you scoop the game. That was pretty insane. But he's going to be searching a copy of Blue Tang here. Then Pascalis is going to basically like Goblinberg a Marincess out of the hand. So he's going to special Blue Ting and then use Blue Ting's effect to send Mandarin to the graveyard, which is a free extender pretty much while you control 2 Marincess, I believe. Then he can go ahead and use Slug's effect to go ahead and target a Marincess in the grave, add it back to hand. So he's going to add Seahorse back to hand, it looks like. Or maybe that was with Blue Ting's effect. I think that this activates separately. I could be wrong. Yeah, so Slug is going to go ahead and add back the Blue Ting since it has to activate on resolution or on activation. You can't target like one of the cards you excavate with Blue Ting or anything like that. So Sea Angel is going to be summoned here. Using the Pascalis, it's going to search for Battle Ocean, and then Sea Archiver can be special summoned here. Then he's going to go ahead and link off into a copy of Coral Anemone, which is going to bring back a copy of Sea Angel. Then he's going to link those off into a Crystal Heart, and then he's going to activate the field spell, Battle Ocean, and link off into the link 4, which is Great Bubble Reef. So that's going to go ahead and attach 3 of the Marincesses back. And he can also use Coral Anemone to bounce back the other link too, which is the Crystal Heart. Which basically what Crystal Heart does is it makes your Marincess that's summoned from the extra, into the extra monster zone unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So they pretty much have to clear this Battle Ocean first, and then they can clear your monster. But this card is basically just a Towers monster. It's unaffected by everything right now, which is pretty insane. So basically all Wolf needs to do is just like bait this back row, bait this field spell, pop the Bubble Reef, and then hopefully he can have enough here. But Seahorse is going to be special summoned, and Mandarin is going to be also summoned back from the graveyard. Linking those 2 off, he's going to make a copy of Splash Mage. So this is really interesting actually. It's a water monster, so it's pretty cool. But it's basically a free extender summoning a Cyber's monster back from your graveyard, sorry. And then he's going to go ahead and link off into a copy of Marbled Rock, which can add back a Marincess also from the graveyard. So he's going to add back the Seahorse as well. So he pretty much just committed 1 card into this Marbled Rock, which is really nice. I don't think he committed any cards. He just banishes Mandarin pretty much. So he just has an extra monster on the field that can recur in resource on the next turn. So Wolf is staring down this back row, this like board. He's pretty much just like worried about the back row pretty much. But in the standby phase, Great Bubble Reef can use its effect to go ahead and banish a water from the grave and draw a card. So this Bubble Reef is also sitting on a lot of attack power. So Battle Ocean is going to give it 600 for each card equipped to it, which is 1800 after all these cards, and then 200 for it being a Marincess monster. And then he's going to gain another 600 for the Splash Mage being banished. So if we count it up, that's 2000, and that's 600, so 26. It's going to be at 5200. So it's pretty big, pretty large. We'll see what happens. So he's going to go ahead and start with Melody. So typically, if you start with Melody here, I think like the best card to discard is honestly this Gizmek Orochi, because you can just bring it back from the graveyard. Okopogo is pretty good as like an extender, so I think he should probably save that, but we'll see what he does here. So he's discarding the Okopogo, which I think isn't very smart here, just because all of the danger cards you want to send to the graveyard don't really do anything in the graveyard. So yeah, I think that the Gizmek Orochi definitely would have been good. If you think about it here, if he would have discarded this Gizmek Orochi, he get a special to back as a level 8 monster, and then special summon the Blue Eyes Alternative. Blue Eyes Alternative could pop the Marbled Rock at that point. Can it target any monster or any card? No, just monsters. So yeah, he could definitely target this Marbled Rock. He's basically like forcing Goofy Ghost to like have an out with this Dynamis, which he can definitely out one of the Ring Gates. And I'm not sure why he searched both copies of Alternative. I think he definitely should have searched for a Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Because if you think about it here, if he searches for a Levianeer in one of these slots, then this Alternative isn't exactly dead in his hand. So he can like trade in this Blue Eyes after he specials the Alternative just to get a brick out of his hand. And then, yeah, I think he has like a lot of options. He could still like discard like the Chaos Base. I don't know. He still has a lot of options here, but typically like his like main goal is to make a rank 8, get rid of this field spell and bait the back row. And then he should be able to clear this Bubble Reef pretty easily. So we'll see here. So he's going to reveal Blue Eyes to special Alternative. That's pretty nice. Alternative should be able to use its effect here to pop the Marbled Rock, but Dynamicious is going to come down here to get rid of it. So he's pretty much free to play here. So if this was like a Levianeer, like I said, this would be really good because like Chaos Base discarding this Gizmek Orochi, then he should be able to search. That actually searches for the Levianeer, but he's actually going to opt to special summon Gizmek Orochi, which I don't think is a very smart play. If you think about it here, he could have used Chaos Base's secondary effect to shuffle back the Alternative to get a draw, since it can't be normal summoner set. So yeah, Chaos Base is like pretty nutty. I think he definitely missed that opportunity there. So he should have probably searched for like a Levianeer out of the hand and got a free draw with Chaos Base. So it definitely would have cycled some cards out of his hand. He would have got a lot of free advantage. Trade-in is going to be used here to get rid of this copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Does this gain attack equal to for all banished cards? 600 attack each time a monster. Okay, so it's a monster specifically. Okay, that's interesting. So Dragon Shrine is going to be used here. This is actually sitting at 58 then. But Dragon Shrine is going to come down here, sending the copy of Spirit White, and then Legend's going to go ahead and search for a Blue Eyes here. Yeah, I definitely think that he definitely misplayed a lot here. I think he could have put a lot of bodies on field. He could have saved this Ogopogo. I think that if he played his hand correctly, even with the banish of the Alternative, I think he could have put this Ogopogo on field. He probably would have had enough materials. Yeah, he has 3 lights in graveyard, so he could have definitely found a way to get into Levianeer. And Levianeer could have possibly brought back a monster from the grave, just depending on his the hand that he drew off of like the trade-in and stuff like that. Also, I'm not sure why he didn't trade in this last Blue Eyes here. I guess like to summon the other Alternative, but like I don't know. But yeah, he definitely could have like put those Gizmek Orochi on the field, put a Chaos Dragon Levianeer and the Ogopogo, and then at that point he could just make like Dingirsu send this, attack over like the Marbled Rock. Honestly, I don't know. He just has like a lot of options here that I think he definitely missed out. So Mandarin is going to be, Bubble Reef's going to be using its effect, banishing the Mandarin to draw a card. Then he's going to go ahead and obviously the Reef gains the 20 or the 600 attack, so it's at 52. Pinpoint Land, it's going to be activated here. Special summon Pascalis from hand. Pinpoint Landing should be able to get him a draw here as well. And then he's going to get a mill off of the Blue Tang, I believe. And honestly, I think at this point he can just kind of push for damage here. So summoning a Coral Anemone, and then he can get like searches with the blue. But honestly, at this point, I think the game is pretty set and clear at this point, since Marbled Rock should be able to clear over this monster. He can just kind of like basically search for Sea Angel can search for stuff. He can just get free extenders on the field. Summoning a copy of Wonderheart, which is basically like this is another link for you can summon. I think Bubble Reef is obviously the best one, but yeah. So he's gonna go ahead and attack over. Should be for 150 over, and then attacking for 2500 or 2700 rather. He's gonna use Gizmek Orochi's effect to go ahead and special back. That's pretty nice. I mean, just getting a free monster back, but I think he definitely should have waited for the Buffalo Reef to attack, since this is just 2700. So he can just attack this still, like redirect his attack, and then still hit for the 5700. So I think he definitely misplayed there with how much damage he could have protected himself. And then standby phase of the next turn, Bubble Reef is going to get him a free draw. And I think honestly in this case he should be able to have like a comeback still. This Alternative should be able to summon itself. I mean, I don't know, because like Veiler can come down, Marincess Wave can come down, but I think there's still, I don't know, maybe at this point Goofy Ghost I think has enough enough like resources that he just kind of like outgrinds in this case. So yeah, Marincess Wave's just gonna go ahead and negate, and then he's pretty much done. He's just gonna scoop there. I completely forgot the Galaxy Eyes package exists as well. Like, going into the Galaxy Eyes cards is also really insane. Just being able to pop like the field spell and then maybe like pop the monster, and then at that point he's just free to like win. So he's gonna go ahead and start off with a Melody, discarding a Dark Hole. It's interesting that he sided to go first and sided in Dark Hole. I don't think that was necessary. I think that was probably a bad like side deck option on his part. But Blue Eyes Alternative is going to come down here. I'm still curious as to why he didn't search for another, because did he start with 2 Blue Eyes in hand? I didn't think so. He probably could have searched for 11 here, at least in one of these situations, just to have follow up. So Dragon Ravine or Shrine's coming down to go ahead and send Spirit of White to the grave and sending White Stone of Agents. Agents is going to go ahead and get a special for Blue Eyes out of the deck during the end phase. So kind of a lackluster board. Let's see what Goofy Ghost can do. So Pascalis is going to be normal summoned here, special summoning Seahorse from the hand, and he's going to go ahead and link that off into a Blue Slug. Blue Slug is going to add back the Seahorse, and then the Pascalis is going to be linked off into a Sea Angel, searching for Battle Ocean. And then he can go ahead and special the Seahorse due to its own effect to a Link Zone, and then go ahead and link those 2 off into a Coral Anemone. And then Coral Anemone is going to bring back a water from the graveyard, being the Seahorse. He can link those 2 off into a copy of Crystal Heart, and then he can activate the field spell, link the 2 Link 2s off into a Great Bubble Reef, and then he should be able to just go ahead and use Coral Anemone's effect to add back the Seahorse back to hand, just so he has an extra resource. Obviously, he lost no card advantage. Actually, he lost 1 card, technically being the Pascalis, but that hardly matters. Master Restrict is going to be set here face down. I assume the Called by the Grave as well, maybe not. Great Bubble Reef is sitting, I believe, at 4,600 right now, so that's gonna be 1,600 damage over the Blue Eyes Alternative, and he's just gonna pass his turn, or go into main phase 2, set the Call by the Grave, then pass his turn. So Winged Dragon of Frost Sphere Mode is drawn for turn. This doesn't really do anything in this case, plus especially the Master Restrict is pretty rough here. Great Bubble Reef is going to be using its effect to go ahead and banish the Pascalis and draw a card. And still in the standby phase, Master Restrict is flipped so that Kaijus don't happen. Then Blue Eyes Alternative is going to be used here to special summon itself. And then he should be able to like bait like a negate by using the Alternative's effect here. He didn't use the effect here. Well, I mean, that makes sense. The Bubble Reef is obviously unaffected, but he could go into the Galaxy Eyes package, which is exactly what he's going to do. So Cypher Dragon, then he's going to go ahead and overlay into a full armor. This should be able to pop the field spell, so hopefully he does something like that. He's not going to do that. I don't know why he's attacking here. This Great Bubble Reef is on 5,200 attack, so he just says never mind. It's actually on 5,200. Yeah, he does correct that here, but I don't know why he just overlaid the Cypher Blade. I believe the full armor can target a face-up card, so he should have just targeted this Battle Ocean and popped it, and then Cypher Blade Dragon should have just popped the monster, and that would have done it, I think. But obviously the Veiler could have came down on both of those situations, which I think it's going to come down right here as well. So Veiler's just going to come down on it. I think he definitely could have just at least burned the Veiler on his opponent, so it would have definitely done at least a little bit. But Pascalis is going to come down. Seahorse is going to be special summoned out of the hand as well. He's going to link off into a Blue Slug, search for Seahorse, back from the hand to the Blue Slug, link those 2 off into Coral Anemone, get a special back for Pascalis, and then link those off into a Marbled Rock, which should be able to add back the Blue Slug back to the extra deck, so he has a resource for the following turn. Then Bubble Reef can just swing over for, I believe it's at like, it's definitely over 28. And then Marbled Rock should be able to summon as well, but Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon is going to be summoning back a Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon in the graveyard, which I don't know why, but he summoned back full armor, but it definitely summons back Cypher Dragon, so I don't know why. Yeah, he does correct that here. So Marbled Rock can't swing over that, obviously. I believe he's just going to go ahead and pass his turn. I'm not sure why Called by the Grave wasn't activated there. He could have just Called by it and then just swung for 27. I don't know, maybe he just missed that altogether, but we'll see. Bubble Reef is going to go ahead and banish the Coral Anemone, get a draw. It's at 5,200. Pretty huge. hard to out. Chaos Dragon Levineer is going to be activated here. He can banish a lot of lights out of the graveyard, actually. So probably banishing like a stone, maybe not stone, but probably like the whites, an Ancients, and maybe like a Cipher Blade Dragon. So he's banishing the Ancients. Okay, I think this is definitely a misplay, because if you read Ancients, you can banish the Ancients out of the graveyard. It says right here, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target a blazed monster in your grave, and add it to your hand. So this gets a free alternative back to the hand, so he could get a free special as well, so he gets another level 8 on board. So I think that was definitely a misplay on his part, because he could have Ancients, brought back the alternative, special the alternative by revealing the Blue Eyes, and then he can pop the Marbled Rock, bait out this Veiler if it happens, or obviously bait out the Call by the Grave with the Ancients effect. And he can also special back with Levineer, which hopefully he does here as well. He's using Levineer, that's going to get hit with a Veiler. Obviously, if he had the Ancients still in the graveyard instead of like maybe the Blue Eyes or maybe the Cipher Blade Dragon, he could just add this back to hand, special it, overlay for maybe like a Dingirsu. But before that, obviously, he could just hit the Marbled Rock. Overlay for Dingirsu, get rid of this Battle Ocean, then this Bubble Reef is just going to be sitting at, what, 20 or 3,200, since it only gets the boost from its own effect. And he should be able to find a way maybe to clear it. I don't know, maybe not. But I think that's possibly an option at least. Galaxy Eye Cipher Dragon is going to be swinging over the Marbled Rock, and that's going to do just 300 points of damage. And then he's... Okay, I don't know why he just did this, but he just overlaid with Cipher Dragon, which is definitely not a level 8 monster. So, yeah, that is not how Xyz monsters work. That is a rank, not a level. And looks like he's just going to go ahead and pass this turn. So Effective Reef is going to be used in the standby phase to banish Marbled Rock and get a draw. And then he's going to also draw for turn. Call by the Grave is going to be used here on Blue Eyes, which is interesting. He's going to use Coral Reef to go ahead and swing over for 2,800 over the Levineer. He's just going to activate the Signet Mining, search for a blue Tang, and pass this turn. So he does have a Marincess Wave, which is pretty rough as well. Coral Reef is going to banish the Seahorse, draw a card, and yeah, honestly, Wolf's in a pretty rough situation. I definitely think he could have played around this a lot better, but that's a little unfortunate. Tang is going to be sending a Seahorse to the graveyard. He's going to link that off into a blue Slug. Slug can go ahead and get an effect. Tang can add as well back to hand, but he didn't hit anything. It's kind of like Foxy, but unfortunately he didn't hit a Marincess card. Seahorse is going to be added to hand, should be able to special summon itself from hand as well. Linking those off into a Splash Mage. Get a special back for Blue Tang. Splash Mage is actually very similar to Coral Anemone, so that's actually kind of interesting to note right there. Then he can link those off into another copy of Marbled Rock. Marbled Rock can unfortunately swing over the Cipher Dragon, and Bubble Reef is clearly at 5,200, so this should be enough for game. So, yep, he just scoops it up there. So that's going to do it for that match. This is the deck profile that Goofy Ghost took. So honestly, I think it's like a fairly standard Marincess list. The only thing that's kind of interesting and like out of the ordinary, I guess, is like the Frog Engine and also Pinpoint Landing. I don't think this is like typically played in Marincess list, but I could be wrong. It's just kind of like an interesting card. It's, you know, kind of off, I guess. Yeah, and then moving on into the side deck, he's obviously on the one statue of the Torrent. I mean, he could, like, if you're going first, you can actually side into this, like, Foolish Burial, send it to grave, and then, like, Coral Anemone, bring it back, which is kind of funny. And then your opponent's locked out of water, or locked into only waters, I guess, which is kind of cool. Other than that, I think that's like pretty standard. A lot of one-ofs, obviously the Harpy's Feather Duster, Regeki Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler No More, Cosmic Cyclones, and the Massacre Restrict. This is also a really interesting tech just because like his deck dies to Kaijus. Like if you Kaiju the Bubble Reef, like it's pretty much over. So if he has the Master Restrict, it's pretty good. Obviously he's on the Frog Engine, so playing the Toads are pretty standard. And honestly, I think this list is like pretty standard, pretty solid, honestly, as well. I mean, Dynamistresses are pretty good, Marincess Wave's pretty good, Impermanence is pretty good. Like, Marincess Wave is just 3 more copies of Impermanence, basically, so it's kind of good. Sea Archiver is actually pretty cool, too. I don't typically see this in Marincess lists from my experience, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and congrats to Goofy Ghost for making it into the, you know, getting a round 1 bye. So congrats to him. If you are interested in playing these tournaments, go ahead and join the Discord link in the description below, and I'll see you there hopefully.